guys, welcome to Toribash Takeover. This is Dr. Hacks, and today I'm going to try to fill in the gaps with answering a good amount of questions from the Toribash Takeover Q&A thread. I can't answer all the questions. I tried to. The video lasts way too long. So I'm going to pick some of my favorite questions from some of the great posters and answer them. But if you can get your question answered, just ask again. Don't be shy. Don't get upset. All right. Internet asks, what is your opinion about single player? Do I plan to try to join Ormo? And who is my favorite single player person? My opinion about single player is really fun, really great, and if you don't know how to manipulate Tori physics yet, you don't fully understand and grasp the concepts of the anatomy, like if you don't see a reason why to manipulate your neck, single player is great. If you are looking to play counter to what other people are doing and understanding the metagame, you can't pick that up from single player. You need to get out there, see what players are doing, and actually jump into the game. So it has a really good purpose, and it's really good at developing player skill, but there are some things that it lacks in order to develop skill, and that's why you have to balance it between single player and multiplayer. I play single player when the internet's out, or when I'm traveling. I'd love to join RMO when I'm ready, but I'm just not good enough yet. I just haven't dedicated enough time because it takes a lot of patience, and I just don't have it right now. And who's my favorite single player person? That'd be War Hero. Watching him complete the fastest records and full DMs was really, really cool. So that was really fun, and it inspired me to like try to fool around in the first place with it. Great question. Halator asks, what set did I own before Odlovs? What do I think about the new Wushu mods? Why do I compare Australia to England? Alright. I think the previous set that I wore before this one was a set made by Hanzo for 1,000,000 Tori credits, and it was a simple 128 texture set because that's all that existed. Kind of recreation, reimagining of what Illidan Storm Rage from World of Warcraft looked like, but on a Tori character. So I believe it was like pure and toxic or pure and radioactive or something like that. And I'll post a picture up with the video. What do I think about the new mods? I think the mods are really good if you want to further develop the cult version of the cult following of Wushu, which is good because Wushu's always kind of been a cult mod where you have a few clans playing it. They all know each other. They're all friends with each other, and they all hold themselves to a certain standard. It's bad and isolates you from the rest of the community, though. You're making Wushu that much that much less like the other mods, and you're making Wushu that much less approachable, which isolates the general population from Wushu. So, ultimately, really fun to play Wushu players in Wushu the way they want to play Wushu, but don't go and push it on other people. And that's like where the bigger problems lie, is when like a Team Wushu thinks that they get to speak for the entire community about what's going to happen with Wushu. Ultimately, what happens in public servers is going to be what's best for the public, not what's best for the cult following. But in the end, I think it's really cool, and I've been pushing since day one for damage flags, so I'm glad they're finally there, and triggers. And I think it was in the book Great Expectations that someone like I acquired the knowledge that Australia used to be a prison for England. I don't know if that's true, but it made sense in my head, at least because of the accents are very similar. Scale 1 to 10, how awesome is that Holotor guy? He's pretty cool. He's very gentlemanlike. He lost a game of League of Legends to my girlfriend on purpose, which was very nice and gentlemanlike. He's also terrible at League of Legends. Overall, he's a really great guy, though, so I highly appreciate Holotor. Raymondski. Raymondski. I'm so sorry, man. Best clan you've ever been a part of is Alpha. I always idolized Alpha. I'll always be in Alpha. Probably anyways. They just took Wushu to the next level when Wushu was still hot and had its cult following, when Wushu was at its highest competitive cult peak, when you had players like Shexudio, Mataluna, Sahi, Nike Leos, Super Jojo, Kamiko, Odlov, Snudge, you name Ti Cux, North, all these really, really, really high level players were all competing against each other. You had like Clan League number 3 going on. Alpha came out on top, and ever since then I've always idolized them. And I always dueled Odd Love, always held them to the highest regard, that's why I wear a set. So definitely Alpha. Great question. And I appreciate that everyone is very interested in the market. In terms of how I feel about the tier sets, I feel it was poorly executed, but it's a great concept and plan. If we move forward and we make some items that people don't care about less lower tier, and items that people care a lot about higher tier, I think that would be really beneficial. All right. Thanks for the questions about the market. That's going to address. There's like a lot of people asking about the new Tory shop policy, so I was going to group it all up to that question. Volt asks, what is your favorite TV show or maybe anime show? Favorite TV shows was Scrubs, Big Bang Theory, How I Met Your Mother, although I haven't seen the final season, and just basic comedies. And favorite anime is probably Pokemon. No series in particular. I'm watching the first season over again right now because it's on Netflix. Since March 1st, it went on Netflix. But most of the TV watching I do is on YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube channels as my primary form of entertainment. Great question. Rimineski asks again, how do I feel about the Tory News revival and the influx of new admins and old admins and all of that? It's really good. I hope Tory News revival continues to push strong. It helps increase transparency between members and staff. And the new staff team that we have right now is one of the best I've ever seen, period. The admins are approachable, and when the admins are approachable and they're good for healthy discussion with one another, that means we get better S-mods hired. When we have better S-mods and better admins, and we already have overarching good ninjas and people that just have been in the game for a long time, it really acts as a gigantic shelf and barrier so that the lower people, like the lower staff, can't screw things up for us. So I think it's really, really good staff right now. Thanks for the question. Nico asks, as a highly respected admin, which way do you prefer to interact with the common user? Would you regard yourself as a friend, a role model, or something, or just someone there to help? You also go on to ask, do I just give the minimum as the maximum in terms of like helping people, like you answer the question, you get out, or what's my policy with that? It depends on the person. I never want to just be praised. That sounds conceited. But I mean, people see you and then like, oh my god, and then they're sending you whispers. Can you send me this? Can you make me that? Oh, this is so cool. You just want to be treated like a normal person for the most part. There's got to be that barrier of respect where you're not just constantly insulting or trolling, because then it's just like you're barking up the wrong tree. But that's how I take it. I like to be people's friend, unless they give me a reason not to be. And I try my best to it depends on the person I'm talking to. In terms of helping people, if you're new to the game, I'll probably give you longer answers at first. But if it seems like you're a little dense, you're a little like, maybe I'm talking to a child, and he's got like a million questions, or he keeps asking questions, but also congratulates me and like tells me this is so cool and stuff like that. Then I try to distance myself. Or if you're like a notorious troll, I try to give the answer, help, and then get out. Great questions. Rar asks, what gave me the idea about the corroboration, and are you looking for anyone in particular? Normal Boots gave me the idea for the corroboration. If you don't know what Normal Boots is, it's a website that got rebooted, pun intended, that has a bunch of YouTube channels on it. Pro Jared, Peanut Butter Gamer, John Tron, Continue Show, Satchbags, etc. And they all work together, and they produce co-content, and they also produce content for themselves. and it's a really effective marketing strategy. It's also a really effective strategy to get good content in front of people's eyes. So I thought Toribash is adapting and evolving, and maybe we get something similar going on. In terms of people I'm looking for, uh, the biggest one is Man on Fire Films, probably. Obviously, I would love to do a collaboration with a huge channel that has hundreds of thousands of subscribers that has accidentally played Toribash, but Man on Fire Films, Les Duncan's esports channel. I love what Slycooper does with editing, although he doesn't like being talking. I love Jusmi's music. There's plenty of people I'd love to work with. And Flats99 asks, how did I discover Toribash in the first place, and what made me keep playing? I found Toribash from a friend who was showing me a trailer of Shezda doing head spins back in, I want to say, sophomore year of high school, and we were just in architecture, computer-aided design class, and passing the time. And he was really proud of himself that he was like a brown belt or whatever, and it took him forever. And he was like, "Oh, this game's so wicked hard." And I'm like, "Well, I can get good at video games." And he's like, "Well, you don't understand how hard it is." So then 3 months later, I was a third degree black belt, and I was like, I'm a third degree black belt, and he had already quit, and he was just like, "This is stupid, this is ridiculous," and none of my friends decided to stay with it, but it was a mode of confidence for me to be able to overcome that, be good at something that no one around me was good at. So thanks for the question. Final question from Sparchar. Will you show us the blooper footage sometime or someday? Do you still drink hyphy mud, and how much do you play League of Legends? The blooper footage they're referring to is the multiple takes that I've done for this release episode, where I did it with my roommates and they were inebriated. I'll probably release it at some time. I just don't know in which capacity, and there's so much editing I'd have to do. Do you still drink hyphy mud? Not if I can avoid it. No, I don't. I don't drink carbonated beverages much. How much do you play League of Legends? Pretty often. Pretty often. Like, usually every day for a couple of games. Thanks so much, guys, for all the questions, though. I really appreciate it. I'm going to try to do better to answer more questions more often and make more content for Toribash Takeover. So keep watching, keep subscribing, keep sharing it, keep hitting that like button, and subscribe to my channel, and let's make sure Toribash takes over.